At this point, I'm quite convinced that Jesus was giving us an instruction manual to surf parallel realities, while most of us thought that he was giving us a verse to comfort ourselves or maybe our relatives when someone in the family passes away. I'm talking about John chapter 14, verse 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to read that for you. In my Father's house there are many rooms, and I am going to prepare a place for you. I would not tell you this if it were not so. And after I go and prepare a place for you, I'll come back and take you to myself, so that you will be where I am. You know the way that leads to the place where I am going. Bible itself, Jesus spoke in parables and he spoke in riddles. And this is one such verse which is just taken directly to mean that he's talking about heaven being the Father's house and he going there and preparing the room. But some of it, if you take it in that literal sense, doesn't make any sense, other than the fact that yes, it is quite comforting to think that Jesus has gone ahead of you and he's preparing a room for you in heaven and you can go and join him. And if that's what you choose to take as the interpretation, you're welcome to do that. But I'm exploring it deeper, and this is what has been landing for me off late. And as I was just looking at this verse recently, I just broke it down to certain parts, and I'm going to show that to you now. So the verse begins with, in my Father's house there are many rooms. The Father's house here refers to the unified field, the quantum field or the subatomic field. It is a field of all possibilities, and everything exists right now. All future, present, and past, they all collapse and they're all running in the present moment. All decisions that you have made, you will make, and you're considering making but not making, every possible outcome exists in the unified quantum subatomic field. That's the Father's house. In my Father's house there are many rooms, right? And many rooms refers to parallel universes, and if you want to call that parallel realities, that's perfectly fine. So think about all of these rooms in the Father's house, and that these are infinite number of parallel universes and parallel realities that exist at the same time in the present moment. And he says, in my Father's house there are many rooms, and I am going to prepare a place for you. So when he says I, this is not Jesus, the biological son of Mary, that he's referring to. I, in this case, is Jesus referring to awareness and Jesus referring to consciousness or imagination. Jesus was known for doing this. Like he would just use titles to refer to himself, like Son of Man, Son of David, Son of God. And so this is not surprising when he's playing with his words this way, because he's known for playing with parables. So I is your awareness, your consciousness, your imagination. What I mean by this is that constant witness in the back of your day to day life, beyond your identity, beyond your history, your past, your traumas, your accomplishments, everything. There is a constant witness, a constant note taker that is scripting your entire story and observing your identity. That is your awareness. Even when you are in the highest of highs, in your biggest achievements, you have the witness watching everything. And even when you are going through your lowest of lows, your heart breaks and confusing times, the witness stands steady and watches. That's how you know you can track your story with some congruence as a witness, right? That awareness is what Jesus is referring to as I. And that is why when you refer to yourself, you say, I am so and so, right? So this, what is this I? This I refers to this witness, and this is what he's referring to. In my Father's house there are many rooms, and I am going to prepare a room for you. I being the awareness which you project through your imagination. And prepare a place for you does not mean he's going to go and construct a place for you in heaven, as people would say it. But prepare a place for you means you can send your imagination into one of the many parallel realities. You can imagine, you can see something in your mind's eye, and you can put your consciousness in one of the places. For example, Let's say you imagine that you want to be the business owner of a successful organization, right? You're owning a successful agency or an organization or an enterprise, and you are the business owner of that. So you send your imagination, if that is true for you, into that room, into that reality, so much so that you literally feel the complete accomplishment. You feel that you are one with that reality. You're not looking at that reality from a third person perspective. You're not looking at yourself doing business. You are yourself. You are that businessman. You step into that reality as that person, and you live his life. What kind of morning routine does this guy have, or do you have, rather? When you wake up, what kind of people do you interact with? What kind of habits do you have? How grateful and appreciative do you feel for having that business? How much time do you enjoy with yourself? Like, all of these things, you can simply zoom in, send your imagination. Jesus goes and prepares the room. So you send your imagination into one of the realities and fully become one with it. You have literally a union, so much so that there is no longer any disconnection between you and this personality, this identity. You simply assume this identity, you become it so much that you can appreciate life from his view. You are him, you become him. You send your imagination and prepare the room. And then this is a cryptic thing. He says, I will come back and take you to myself so that you will be here where I am. And this is weird. If he is coming back, which means, if you really take it literally, if Jesus is coming back, he should be saying, I'll take you with me. But he says, I'll take you to myself, which means there's a part of him that is left behind in that heavenly place. Like, if he's coming back, what is myself? Who is staying back? Now, people may argue he's talking about himself in the omnipresence because he's the Son of God. But if you apply the same definition we've been applying here, then this makes complete sense. His awareness, you when you send your awareness into the end result, into one of the parallel realities, you become one with it, and then that identity is logged in. You have actually conceived that identity. You have literally impregnated that the father's house, the unified field, with your awareness, and you have literally impregnated that and made that real. And now, once you have impregnated that, just like in real union with a man, between a man and woman, it doesn't mean that the man has to live inside the woman. He can now withdraw, come back. I'll come back and take you to myself. His seed is here. Your awareness is living here, and you bring your awareness back. And in this case, you is your physical body. I'll come back and take you to myself so that you will be where I am. So, you, the physical body, joins the consciousness. So, your consciousness, your awareness, you using your imagination, has to go first into the realm of all possibilities, occupy the possibility or the reality of your desire fully through first person identity experience, and fully appreciating and connecting with that. And then you bring your awareness back, and then you go and join that reality in the body. And then he says, you know the way that leads to the place where I'm going, because he's already shared the secret in these last few verses. And this is a highly plausible instruction manual that Jesus is giving directly to his disciples. He's speaking privately to his disciples. This is not a sermon. This is privately spoken to his disciples. And if we were to take this in exactly the way I'm saying, this is a secret, an instruction manual. Unfortunately, it has been turned into a children's storybook, and it has been used for comfort. When nothing, no harm, no foul against that. But what could we do when we start unpacking, decoding, and applying what Jesus is saying? And there's a way to do this correctly, And that's exactly what I'm preparing for you guys in the upcoming masterclass.